Hey everyone, welcome back to another weather forecasting video. We have a lot to discuss in this weather forecast video. Ensembles and models are starting to show a big time storm system moving through the central United States. I'll have more information on that in just a few minutes. And we're going to be going over our long range weather pattern and how that's going to affect our second season for severe weather in the United States. Let's get straight into this. Alright, taking a look at the European model, this is the 500 millibar, this is our jet stream, this is what dictates the weather pattern in the United States. Let's go ahead and progress it out to around Sunday of this week. As you can tell, we're more in kind of a quiet jet stream pattern. We do have a low pressure system moving over the upper portions of the Ohio Valley. This is not really going to create any severe weather, if any at all. It might increase the chances for some precipitation in our area locally, but there's not going to be that much moisture in the air, so I wouldn't really count on it. So right now we have this low pressure system that's going to move eastward out to sea. Could cause maybe some severe weather over in the Carolinas, but we don't really talk about the Carolinas that much. And as we progress it into Monday and Tuesday of next week, we still don't really have that much in terms of development in the jet stream, minus this low pressure system moving in from around Alberta, Canada. This is kind of going to swing down into the United States like this, and this is going to be our next big storm system in the United States. Let's go ahead and progress out to Wednesday and Thursday, as you could, and into early Friday morning. There is a classic bowling ball trough moving through the United States. This is going to progress eastward. We'll still have to see. This is still a week out, and this is how far the European goes out. So around 12Z on Sunday, that's around 12 p.m. The low pressure system is centered over western South Dakota, and possibly bringing, well, all the long range models and all the ensemble models are showing a highlighted area of the potential for severe weather over in the Central Plains. Now, we are still a week out from this event, and it's still, as I said before, we're a week out, so we still don't really know the timing and what type of storms and the severe threats, but we do have a good read on something big could happen next week over in the Central Plains, and obviously this easily could shift from the Central Plains over into the Ohio Valley. I mean, we just don't know. It's still a far time out. Let's go and take a look at the GFS and compare it to the European model. The GFS is a little bit more slow on terms of progressing the 500 millibar trough as we move it around Monday and Tuesday and into Friday of next week. As you can tell, this 500 millibar trough is still centered over California, over western portions of California, and while the European on Friday had it centered, over California as well. It's a little bit more slower, but the GFS likes to inherently make the trough a little bit weaker as well. Let's go ahead and progress it out to around Sunday, and as you can tell on Sunday on the GFS model, look at this. It starts to lose its steam around western portions of South Dakota. That's where the low would be centered over. This is going to gradually progress east. It looks like more of a less severe threat with the GFS in terms of the recent model runs. But then as we progress it to around Thursday of next week, the GFS, as we get out to here around the 28th, it doesn't know what it's talking about. I trust the Euro more. So in terms of the European model, I think this is more accurate with this low pressure system centered over the central Great Plains, bringing a threat for severe weather. This is going to be moving eastward, so anywhere in this highlighted area, that's actually a really bad sketch. Anywhere in this highlighted area should be more of a area for some severe weather. Okay, there's the final drawing. I'm sorry. It's still a little too early for me. So this is where the highlighted area of severe weather would be in terms of, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. It is still very early, very early to tell, where, when, and what the threats are going to be for severe weather. but we meteorologists have a nice hold on the 500 millibar trough moving through the central portions of the United States, bringing a threat for severe weather for us in the United States. All right, take a look at the 850 millibar winds, which is wind shear. This is the winds 1,000 feet up above your head, and this is on Thursday morning around 6 a.m. We're going to be keeping an eye on the central plains because right now there's actually not that much 850 millibar flow anywhere in the United States. But in association with that trough, look how it explodes around Friday around noontime. Look at all that. That is a lot of wind shear. Wind changing with height over in the central portions of the United States. This could obviously delineate a threat for the possibility of some tornadoes. Look at this around Sunday around 6 in the morning. Look how strong it is over in central portions of Oklahoma, the panhandle of Texas, Kansas, over in, Nebraska. Look how strong the wind shear is over here. I mean, that's really stupid. And then again, this is a week out. But whenever the models are being consistent about something a week out, something big is going to happen. We have around 50, 55 knots of wind shear. That is very abnormally strong for this time of year over in the Central Plains in terms of severe weather. We'll just be having to keep an eye on this severe threat, and we'll be having to watch it. All right, take a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly. This gives us a little bit of a better read in terms of the 500 millibar flow and the troughs moving through the United States. Let's go and progress it out to the 21st and 22nd, which is whenever that big-time bowling ball trough is going to be moving through central portions of the United States. As you can tell, there is a massive blue blob. That is the low-pressure system moving through, over Nevada right now. That's going to be progressing eastward again, producing possibility of some severe weather. Let's go and progress it out, and this is how far the European goes out. It goes out to the 24th of September, bringing in the chance for some severe weather over in the United States. As you can tell, that is a very strong low-pressure system, 564 millibars. That could obviously bring some severe threat for the United States. Again, very strong low-pressure system. Anywhere underneath the low-pressure system with warm, moist air can have a threat for some severe weather. We'll just have to be keeping an eye on this, but I'm just trying to bring this to your attention that we have a massive pattern change that will be affecting us in the United States for weeks and possibly months to come. All right, so I wanted to shift our attention to some of these little graphics that I made in terms of this severe weather event unfolding. As you can tell, this is our area to watch for severe weather, and obviously it's a very large area still because there is still a lot of uncertainties. The further out we are from these events, the more uncertain we are as meteorologists and weather enthusiasts. But as you can tell, this area is very, very, very large. But the time frame is from the 20th to the 25th. So if you're over in the Central Plains, over in central Oklahoma, be weather aware. Over in the panhandle of Texas, be weather aware. If you live over in Kansas, Nebraska, anywhere. Even over in Kentucky, which is where I live, be weather aware. And I did a little bit of these are the models from last night. These are actually not the most recent runs. But again, multiple models are indicating a return to an active weather pattern. GFS and European models are showing a strong low pressure system moving through the northeast into late next week. Timing, locations, and types of severe weather are still to be determined. We are still a week out from this event. This will be monitored. As you can tell, I drew this low pressure system, and it's going to be moving northeast. But we will have to see with that 500 millibar flow progressing, that way. So we'll just have to see. Obviously, this is quite the interesting 500 millibar flow. And then this is the European model. The European model is more of a slower with the progression over the low. It's more slow. Let's put it that way. And the GFS has a little bit more sped up. Again, these are the models from last night. I'm just showing you the graphics. Obviously, things are subject to change. We are still a week out. I'm just trying to give you guys heads up. And then I outlined the 850 millibar winds, which is wind changing with height, Strongest area of wind shear, wind changing with height, primarily conducive for tornado development. This area is subject to change due to the event being a week out, and I outlined all this. So yeah, obviously with the models agreeing on this massive 500 millibar bowling ball trough moving through the central portions of the United States, moving into the Central Plains and all that. Obviously, if you live there, be weather aware. It's amazing that we can forecast this a week out. And then I drew out the dew points, which is the moisture in the air for thunderstorm development. As you can tell, there's a broad area of southerly winds that is going to be bringing up moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into the central portions of the United States. This moisture is going to be progressing eastward into the Ohio Valley. And we'll have to see if we're going to get any severe weather in our neck of the woods, over in Kentucky, over in, Louisville, Memphis, Nashville, Lexington, anywhere, Paducah. We'll have to monitor this. I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll give you guys the most, informative and, straight to the point weather forecast. But we'll have to see. But then again, this area of southerly winds from the Gulf of Mexico bring in rich dew points in the upper to mid 60s, bringing over the Central Plains. We'll have to monitor this severe threat. But yeah, this is looking like a substantial 500 millibar trough moving through the central portions of the United States. This is kind of reminding me of March 31st. We'll just have to see. There's still a lot of uncertainties. But as the week progresses through, and as we get into the weekend, we'll be able to hone in some of these, uncertainties, and we'll have to see, and we'll hone in a message. And stay with us here on Weather with Ryan, and we'll provide the most accurate and most informative weather forecasts. If you guys enjoyed the weather forecast, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn notification bell, stay on the look for any weather information. I'll see you guys in the next weather forecasting video.